Hello students, welcome to this virtual class. Next is our budget constraint. Budget constraint shows that a consumer can choose any bundle as long as its costs less or equal to the income she or he has given income and price of the goods. It can be written as Px into X plus Py into Y less than or equal to M. Before this, I have already discussed what is that budget line or income line. Budget line or income line is the possible combination of two goods a consumer can buy with his given income and the price of the commodities at a given times. So from this budget line or that income line, we derived that budget constraint, because budget line was like this: Px into X plus Py into Y equal to M. I was drawn that budget line at that time. This is to be called that budget line. I was given the name AF is the budget line. AF is budget line. On that time, I was told that is the Px into X plus Py into Y equal to M. It means the consumer can purchase or consume at any points of this AF line how much income he or she has. He will spend all that income, that money. And I was told if any point of this AF budget line, then that is that less than of his income. It means he is not spending whole income whenever he is consuming or that purchasing of the goods. That is, we may write here, that is Px into X plus Py into Y is less than M. I have already told Px is the price of X goods, X is the units of the commodities of X, Py is the price of Y goods, and Y is that here the unit of the Y goods, whatever the units are purchased by that consumer, which is less than M. That means below that AF. And if it will be equal to M, then it will be at any point of this line. So if it will be equal, it may write like this symbolically. So that is called that Px into X plus Py into Y less than or equal to M, which is to be called that budget constraint. So what is budget constraint? The budget constraint shows that a consumer can choose any bundle. It means suppose this bundle may be that 2 and this may be the 5. If he will spend all the amount of money, it may be the 8. So that it is the less than of that money income what he or she has, that is that less than M. So the consumer can choose any bundle as long as its costs are less or equal. Less is that Px into X plus Py into Y is less than M. Any points? Px into X plus Py into Y is less than M of any that. Any points, all these any points which will be that, or any points of this line that will be equal. So whenever we combine these two, Px into X plus Py into Y equal to M, and Px into X and Py into Y less than M, that is to be called here the budget constraints. Choose any bundle as long as its cost less or equal to the income she or he has given income and price of the goods. It can be written as like this: Px into X, Py into Y less than or equal to M. Because I have already said what Px is the price of commodity X. Already I have said. And X is that units of commodity X by consumed. Similarly, PY is the price of commodity Y, and Y is the units of Y commodity. Already I was told in that last class. So there is no confusion about this Px into X plus Py into Y equal to less than or equal to M. So if it is equal to M, then this is the equation of the budget line equations. If it will less than M, it is the below the budget line. If two will combine, then that is to be called that budget constraint. So again I repeat, what is budget constraint? Budget constraint shows that a consumer can choose any bundle, whatever may be bundle, either more or less of his given income, as long as its cost, whatever the cost means, the price of the X goods and price of the Y goods, which is less or equal. If it is equal on the budget line, if less than budget line, it is to be called less. So less is that this is the symbol of lesser than, and this is that both are equal. So it means that bundle as long as its cost loss or equal to the income she or he has given income and price of the goods, it can be written as Px into X into plus Py into Y less than or equal to M. Now what did I say last example I was, that is, I will put always these examples, units of X goods and units of Y goods, X1, Y2, X goods 2, Y goods 8, X goods 3, Y goods 6, X goods 4, Y goods, X goods 4, 10, 10, 8, 6, sorry. My example was that X goods 0, Y goods 10, X goods 1, Y goods 8, X goods 2, Y goods is 6, X goods 3, Y goods is 4, X goods 4, Y goods 2, X goods 5, Y goods 0. This was the example of that budget line, what I was discussed in detail in that last period, last class. So these are the combinations. This is the A combination, this is the B combination, this is C combination, this is the D combination, this is the E combination and F combination. These are the combinations. So these at any points which to be equal to. If a consumer will prefer this case, suppose 8-1, he will purchase the X goods. Unit is 6 and 1. And X goods is 6. Sorry, X goods means Y goods is 6 and X goods is 1. So as per our formula, price of X goods into X plus price of Y goods into Y equal to M or less than. But here is that price of X goods was ₹2 as per our examples, and price of Y goods is ₹1 as per our example. So price X is 2 into 1 plus price of goods 1 into 6 equal to 8. This 8 is less than 10 because our income Y is that 10 rupees, or our money income M is that 10 rupees as per my example. So in this case, as 8 is the less than 10, so that is called that Px into X plus Py into Y is less than M. It means at any points of this budget line is to be called that less than M. Px into X plus py into y equal to, sorry, less than m. Px into x plus py into y less than or equal to m is to be known as the budget constraints. If we discuss at point A, what will the slope of budget line? What will slope of the budget line? देखिए वो x units of goods x and OY is the units of goods y. Units of goods x and units of goods y. This is the point A and this is the point of A. Remember it, what I am discussing. Px into x plus py into y equal to L. Or M py into y equal to m minus px into x. ये हो सकता है. Is that point? Y equal to m minus px into x divided by py, or y equal to m by py minus px into x divided by py. Suppose y is a point and price of x is 0. In this case, suppose price of x is to p. I was given the example, price x is rupees 2 and x units whenever you purchase that is at 0 units. X goods is purchased at 0. So that time y equal to m divided by price y minus price x is that rupees 2 into x unit 0 divided by price y equal to y equal to m divided by y. It means if this is the 0 points, so x goods. If x goods will be 0, at that time y, as per my example, it was 10 units. So here that is that this point is to be called m by py. So when x goods will purchased 0 by a consumer at a point which is to be called that m divided by py. Similarly, if y goods will be 0, then this point will be that m by px. M by px. Likewise, we derived, similarly it may be m divided by px. If x equal to 0, then this point will be that, a point will be that m by py. If y will be 0, then it will be called that m by px. What I am discussing? Slope of budget line. I am discussing slope of budget line. Slope of budget line. The slope of budget line, it means that is that ratio changes, which is I will say delta y upon delta x. I was given that in that reference curve, that how much is the sacrifice upon how much is that again. So that is to that px upon py. That is that, you remember it, px upon py. Slope of the budget line is that px upon py. It means price of the x commodity is 0. Then the total m by py, and here is that when y goes 0, then it will be that m by px. So that is that one is the sacrifice, another is the gain. So that is the delta y sacrifice, then delta x. So this is that px upon py, which is to be called that slope of budget line. Slope of budget line. So AF is that budget line. Below budget line, which is the less than px into x plus py into y less than m. On the budget line, that is to be called that px into x plus py into y equal to m. And whenever a, that is that m by y, which is that x is 0 and y goods will be this much, and whenever y goods 0, at that time m by px is to that units of purchase, and slope the budget line equal to delta y upon delta x, which is that py on px. That is the slope of budget line. So slope of budget line measures the amount of change in good y is required per unit change in goods x. It means whenever we increase in goods x and sacrifice that goods y, that changes is to be known as the slope of the budget line, that is delta y upon delta x. So delta y and delta x, that symbolically what I am written here, that is called that slope of that budget line. So budget line measures the amount of change in good y required per unit change in good x along the budget line. That slope of budget line is also called that marginal rate of exchange. Marginal rate of exchange. Slope of budget line also known as that MRE, or marginal rate of exchange. Slope of budget line is known as that marginal rate of exchange. That time I was discussing in that inference curve marginal rate of substitutions, that how much commodities we are sacrificing to purchase that 1 units of goods x, that is to be called that marginal rate of substitutions, or that is called that budget constraint. Similarly here, that marginal rate of exchange, which is to be called that slope of that budget line. The absolute slope budget line equals to that px upon py ratio. So the economic meaning of the slope is that given these prices, how much the opportunity cost of x in terms of y sacrificing or that given up is to be known as that slope of that budget line. That in other words, the price ratio is effectively measure of rate at which the consumer is able to substitute goods x for goods y. It means how much he is sacrificing that goods y, and whenever he is increasing that goods x, that is to be called here is that marginal rate of exchange, which is that simplistically shortly we may say that MRE. So consumer can substitute x goods for goods y at the rate of px upon py, the rate of px upon py, which is to be called that slope of budget line or income line. Next we will start that next period, assumption of that budget line and change in income. Thank you.